everybody, and welcome to the Football Club here in Hong Kong for the 6th and final round of the 2019 Asia Rugby Championship. Hong Kong are hosting Korea in a game where the title will be won here today by one of these two sides. Hong Kong with the advantage. They have a chance to seal their second ever ARC title, backing up the success of last year and coming off a big win last Saturday against Malaysia in KL. Let's take a few look at the highlights from last week in Malaysia.
Malaysia and Hong Kong at the Bukit Jalil Stadium in Kuala Lumpur. Malaysia was hoping to build on an outsized performance a week earlier in Hong Kong, but the visitors were in no mood to oblige. Featuring a lineup that more closely resembled its A team, Hong Kong dominated every facet of the match, using both its speed in the back line and its dominant forward pack. The visitors racked up 5 first-half tries on its way to 11 for the match and ran out 71-0 winners.
So a big win last week, 71-0. Looking at the standings then, Hong Kong on 15 with the 3 bonus points, and Korea there on 10. You'll see the points difference is in favour of Hong Kong. The Koreans would have to win today by 46 points or more, and the odds are against them though. They lost here 47-10 last year at this fixture in round 3. Actually, it was 39-5 last year, and in round 3 it was 47-10, the Hong Kong team thrashing the Koreans on their home turf. Let's now take a wee look at the squads here. The Koreans, well, there's 7 changes to the starting lineup from the Hong Kong game. That was 4 weeks ago now. They're without their captain, Na Kwon Yong, and so their skipper today from number 8, Cha Sung Kun. And the average age of this side, about 6 years younger than Hong Kong. But look out in the midfield, Jiang Song Min in number 12 and Kim Jin Hyok in 13. On the Hong Kong side, no changes to the starting pack. Seb Bryan and Ben Axton Burrett force their way back into the starting 15. Rosley shifts to 10 and Jackie Neville moves to fullback. And Kane Boko there at number 8. It's an outstanding series, skippered by Liam Slatham at 9. On the bench, the Hong Kong side, very inexperienced. Only one player with more than 9 caps, and that's Rob Keith with 10 caps. We saw the debuts of Faisal Solomona and Mitch Andrews recently. And there's a lot of energy and vigour in that bench. And look at that beautiful trophy there, the Asia Rugby Championship trophy, as I welcome in my co-commentator, Jed Thyon. Hello, Jed.
Good afternoon, Grant. Good afternoon, viewers and people watching right around the world. Friends and family, what a wonderful sight that is, as these two teams come out to do combat on one of the finest facilities in Asia, the magnificent Asia Rugby Championship trophy. Well, what a day. What a day.
She's an absolute beauty, isn't it? It's the crowning weekend of Asia Rugby, the premiership level of Asian rugby. Hong Kong versus Korea. The games that used to be a lot closer in the past. Hong Kong has put a bit of a gap on Korea in recent years. This Korean side, as we look at Andrew Hall there, coming in behind in the red shirt, the Hong Kong coach, with his assistants. We'll stand by now for the national anthems of Korea, followed by China. Proud moment for Liam Sladen, skippering his home side here on this beautiful hot afternoon, which effectively, there is the Korean coach Seo Chon-ho. He's really blooded a lot of players in this series from the Yonsei University and Korea University. 12 or 13 players they've blooded. There's Andrew Hall, the Hong Kong coach, with Scott Snedden, Craig Hammond and Mark Carter. And again today we see about 8-9 players out there that are aged 20, 21, 22, all very young. They're building for the future. And Hong Kong, this man with the ball just off your screen as we look at the official Shuhei Kubo from Japan, Kajiwara from Japan, Charlie Brown from Singapore, Greg Hinton, the TMO, the Australian living in Mongolia. There is Liam Sladen, the 30-year-old out of the Sandy Bay Club, South African born, such a competitor. Clearly still the best scrum half in Hong Kong. On the bench, Jamie Lauder on his home track for Football Club. Matt Rosley there with the ball in his hands. He slots into 10 this week. Jack Neville did a good job last week, and Paul Altier had a game at 10 as well against Malaysia. So they've thrown it around a bit as we get underway here, straight into the arms of Kim Do-kum. And this could be a debut for Kim. Up into contact goes Lee Hyun-soo, big boots to full. There's skipper Na Kwon-yong out of this fixture. And Korea, well, they have to score 46 points or more to win that big shiny trophy. It's a tall ask indeed. One would say next to very impossible the way this series has gone, and Cunningham penalised early for not rolling away.
Well, interesting selection from Hong Kong this afternoon. Jack Neville, Seb Bryan and Harry Sayers making the flyers out the back. Paul Altier taking a break this week. He's had a good season. He's a good series, actually, Paul Altier. And he can take some rest, I think, this weekend, knowing that he's pretty much cemented his place going forward. He's one to watch for the future. Let's see how the set piece runs now for the Korean side.
And it's batted back by Kim Yo-han. They secure it. Probably not the planned move. Fishing it out is Kang Min-jun from the Korea University, just 21, gets a start ahead of the more experienced Lee Myun-jun. Looking up and seeing that, that looks like a shocker, and he's got that wrong. The bounce here at Football Club does tend to dampen, but he's got a bit of a roll on that one. That's a mistake early from the fly half, Han Koo-min from the Armed Forces Army Corps.
Well, first up scrum coming for the match. Last week, Hong Kong put on a real masterclass, and the forwards, the pack operated superbly down in the hot conditions of Malaysia. And they didn't overdo it, they didn't overcook it, they just used good control, good discipline, and plenty of power. They'll need all of that today and more against Korea.
First scrum then, this unchanged Hong Kong pack. Business as usual. Boko takes it to the open side. Neville was there, beats one, gets taken on the half line. Choi with the tackle. Here comes Sullivan round the corner. He's had a good series, Kyle Sullivan. Him and Finn Field look securing their spots in the second row. Higgins with the burst. Sladen feeds to Rosley. Callum McCulloch's the dummy runner. They get it wide to Boko. A couple of early touches for him. Ben Exton Burrett helping to secure that one, and Cunningham with the carry. Rosley again just takes on the line, causes some confusion. Gets good support there from Ben Higgins, the prop. Here's the other bookend from Valley, Grant Kemp. Enjoyed himself immensely last week in Malaysia. Tyler Spitz working with no room down there, gets it to Seb Bryan in his second international appearance, and they've been run out of space by the Korean defence, so everyone getting their hands on the ball early, and the defensive line with the white shirt standing up so far.
Yeah, strong frame for all, strong shape as well from Korea. Defence not getting too flustered, just moving, nice shape, showing the sideline to Hong Kong and squeezing them out of the middle. Suits them, doesn't it? Good defence.
And that one's been botched. It's a second shabby line out as Axton Barrett straightens, takes on Han Kumin. And look at him go, the big man. Rosley to Sullivan, and Spitz getting in the road there, and fearful that he might have been causing a little problems for the Korean defence, gets away with it. Ben Higgins with another carry. Very mobile prop. And it's Kemp again, so the front row having a good crack here. Cunningham peels away, bounces out of a big hit from Lee Kyu-san. Rosley, and he was straight through Callum McCulloch, also on his home track. Just in his 4th international as well, but it was very flat and struggled to take that, but it looked like he might have been through as well.
Well, Korean defence just putting enough pressure on them. Time and space, that's the key when it comes to defence. Moving up and depriving the attacking team of the ability and time to make decisions. As the heat clearly takes an early effect on one of the front row forwards from Korea. We can understand that. It's getting a bit gnarly in the commentary box.
Cunningham receiving some treatment as well. But yes, it is around 33 degrees. But the pitch being artificial, giving off another 5 to 10 degrees at least. You are literally being baked if you get on the bottom of a ruck. There is Vice Captain Cunningham. Looks rather serious.
Yeah, I think he took a fairly good dink from the tight head prop when he took the ball off Grant Kemp. He got shortened up pretty soon after that.
Decent crowd here today, and you can catch us on Facebook at asia.rugby. Don't tell us that you don't spend a few hours a day locked away in the toilet at work looking at Facebook while you're meant to be working. On Instagram at Asia Rugby Live, and we're on the Twitter if tweeting is your thing, at Asia Rugby. And if you're in Hong Kong watching this on the big screen, there's still time to get down here. Here is Seb Bryant from the Sandy Bay Club. Also 3 players from Sandy Bay making the starting lineup today. Very evenly spread across the clubs here. Valley with 4 starting. A good sprinkling from all clubs. A couple of months out from the premiership here in Hong Kong.
Well, he's coming back to the pack, but he's hardly moving like a poem, isn't he? James Cunningham looks a bit ginger, but he usually looks pretty dinged up most days.
So let's see how the Korean scrum goes here. They're put in. It's going to be Kang Min-jun, the 21-year-old. Look at him. He's a slight fella, very sprightly. And the beginning of a 4-year cycle effectively is what we're at. Korea are blooding a whole raft of young players. Where will they be in 4 years' time? Will either of these sides have a shot? In France 2023, there's rumours it'll be a 24-team comp. Hong Kong currently ranked 24 and Korea ranked 30. On this side, you've got Lee Kyu-san up against Ben Higgins. Expect a bit of a shove here, no, but it's steady. That's nice from Korea. Kang Min-jun gets it away to Han Kumin, and he pops that right downfield, and Neville's in good position. The Kowloon fullback slash fly off. He gets through tackles into the hands of Boko. McCulloch's on his shoulder. Post goes in to secure it. Slater, Rosley, they're on the front foot, Hong Kong. Barking out the orders, Neville slots into fly half. Sullivan on the inside shoulder. Good tackle coming in from Jiang Song Min. And they get back and form the line. There's Finn Field with a big carry on his home track too. They come back the same way. And there's Harry Sayers. He's switched to the left wing this week. 2 tries last week to young Sayers. No Connor Hartley this week. Seb Bryant taking the other wing. Korean defence sticking in for now, but 80 minutes of that's going to be awful. Rosley, McCulloch, had Boko with him. He's into everything, Kane Boko. Perhaps the player of the series. Ben Axton Barrett beats the first tackle, pops it up. Finn Field swoops around and dives in on that one. Cunningham with the cheeky toe poke. It was a free ball, the arm was out, and he tried his luck. Very shallow, deep, dead ball areas here. So
well, he's clearly recovered from that early knock, James Cunningham. Or maybe he hasn't.
No, I think that kicks
I think he's Andrew Johns right now.
That's right.
Good period of play there, some good sequencing and some great skills, but I think the thing I've really noticed this afternoon already, and we're not even 10 minutes into the match, and it's the delivery by Liam Sladen today is absolutely spot on.
Yeah, he's none better than Liam Sladen. 30 years old now. He's just re-signed for another couple of years with the Hong Kong Rugby Union. And we also saw Bryn Phillips from the Kowloon Club have a cameo in the home fixture here against Malaysia. Jamie Lauder with his second appearance here in Hong Kong, as well as Alex Post. Lines up McCulloch. He's a great option at 193. And they sack it well, the Koreans. It's all over the floor. Cunningham with his mitts on it. He's got Higgins with him. Sullivan comes around to support. Good tackle by Kim Jeep there. He's pretty hard to get out of there. He might get pinged. Trapped, wedged. Boko again with McCulloch and Higgins. And they crab across towards the posts. Axton Barrett waits for it, and Char, the captain, gets away with that one by using those puppy dog eyes of his. Sladen's there, of course. Rosley could score himself. Seb Bryan, no, it's Jack Neville on Seb Bryan's wing, and the Kowloon fullback goes in. The first try of the match here at the football club. Good work by the forwards and capped off by Jack Neville. 5-0.
Hong Kong, very patient, very composed, and managing to put the pressure on Korea. A big physical team, Korea. There usually isn't a lot of gaps around them, but they've moved them around enough. And look at the space they've created for Jackie Neville. In he goes. I don't know if he'll score an easier one than that. He scored a pick and go against Malaysia last week, and that's uncommon for a man of his physical dimensions.
27 years old, Jack Neville, in his 13th appearance for Hong Kong today. He's taken a step back from the 7 scene, which allows him to get stuck into his 15s. Hong Kong preparing for the Olympic qualifiers, so he doesn't qualify for that. He's not a passport holder. Here's Rosley. 7 kicks last week and 14 from 19 in the series. Interesting seeing him back in the fly-half position. You know he prefers 12. From right out wide, and he's just shaded it to the left as it's right into the eyes of the assistant referee, so it stays after 10 minutes. 5-0, Hong Kong with the lead.
Well, there's a shot of the try scorer, Kowloon's Jack Neville. And Hong Kong just quietly starting to go about their work here. It almost seems like they're playing in a phone box compared to the stadium at Bukit Jalil and KL. And the smaller ground really does suit the visiting team. They're physically big, strong men, halfback not included. And so Hong Kong have got no real options but to run at them. You can barely run around them. It just goes to show, if you just punch away at them hard on the inside, they're going to leave someone alone out wide. And if it's Harry Sayers or Seb Bryan or Jack Neville, well, you can pretty much put points on that all day.
Yeah, she's about 65 metres wide, the football club pitch, 5 metres short of international standards. Boko with the clean take. He's got Cunningham in front of him, looking for a good exit now as Kemp lines up here, gives it to his club mate Higgins. And the two of them wreaking havoc so far on the Korean defensive line, and eventually back to their other teammate from the valley, Matt Rosley, and that's well taken, going backwards by Char. And let's see if they can get a head of steam up here. The blue line is good as Lee Jai Bok puts it through. Rosley held back, took it. And a bit of a nothing kick from Lee Jai Bok. It was a centering kick, but about 1,000 miles too deep. Rosley goes quick. He's got Neville with him. Neville's got Spitz and Bryan. He spins out of one. Spitz, beautifully done. Seth Bryan with a rare bit of ball. He's got one to beat. He's got Liam Slater with him. Seth Bryan's going to score his first international try. And they've gone 80 metres from a quick tap, and that is absolutely sizzling, Jed. The ground loves it.
Well, he got the short wheelbase into a bit of space, dumped the clutch, and just blew right by them. Seb Bryan, we've seen him do it for the sevens. Look at this, shapes them up and then gets on the gas. It's tagged late, but it's all over by the shouting. Look at that, that's a beauty, Hong Kong. Take that.
There's Kim Namut with the desperate tackle. He's more of a centre than a winger, but he did get his hands on Bryan. What a bit of a link play there from Tyler Spitz. Got it slightly behind him, had to spin and go. And that was classic from the little Tiger.
Yeah, you're right, none of it started real good, did it? It was kind of like, oh, did we train all week for this? But we know the talent that lies below was Seb Bryan. We've seen him pull out some absolute blinders playing for Hong Kong in the sevens code. And he's just put his stamp on the game pretty early. Pretty confined space to come off the line and outstrip the defence. Brilliant stuff.
Yes, he had 3 of his own players in front of him at one stage there as they were queuing up. And Rosley, leading point scorer in the series, 33 points at the moment. 31, sorry. Missed that last conversion. This one slightly easier. Out of his kicks, 10 kicks last week. They're all pretty wide except a couple, and the crowd likes it. Matt Rosley goes up to 33 for the series. And that's 2 quick tries to the outside backs. Effectively means that Korea need 58 points unanswered from here.
Well, it was Matt Rosley that got that play started. It was a fairly casual kick downtown. He took the short arm to restart, caught them on the hop, and Hong Kong are showing that they've got the eyes, ears and minds wide open at the moment. Korea, well, they need to shake those 2 tries off and get back in the mix.
Han Kumin gets under this one with the pitching wedge. Sullivan's ready for it. He gets lifted by Grant Kemp. And Ben Higgins. And that's a good take under pressure. It's a good kick by Han Kumin. Here comes Neville. He looks rampant today already. And that's a massive fend off in the chest there from Ben Axton Burrett. He's had a tidy wee series himself. Just inside their own half, Hong Kong. Looking for runners. There's all sorts of action. Kemp now. Oh, of course he's not going to pass it. He'll say he had good intentions. They're on the front foot again. Straight away, Rosley with the cutout pass. Neville's just making space where it shouldn't be there. He's got one to beat. Char comes at him. It's off the knee of Cunningham. Was Slater ahead? He thinks he was, so he lets it go. Ben Axton Burrett comes charging through. I don't believe it, Jed. 3 tries like that. And the discipline of Liam Slater there not to touch that ball.
Yes, well, the game just went interdimensional, didn't it? Everybody looked at that amazing rugby ball. We know it's got a mind of its own. It's built and comes from a special place. It does crazy things. And the world just stopped for a moment while it found somebody on side. Now, Jack Neville, well, he's got the skinny shank, so you're probably going to step away from that. That's a good knee on by James Cunningham. And then what about this guy? Had a frustrating start against Malaysia. He's a bit of a baller, all right. Loves the action. Stocky frame of Ben Axton Burrett. Delivers some real power, though, doesn't he? He's got that pit bull type play about him. Rosley probably won't get an easy one today, I don't think.
Well, Jack Neville's on fire, isn't he? You just sort of wonder where he's best suited. He's so good at 10 and 15. He's back. He's been out with injury for a long time. Tore his bicep a season ago. Kowloon didn't get much out of him in the last season. He's back this season. That's ominous for all other clubs. Look at him in full flight. Look at Char there, comes at him. Look at Slater. He knows he's about an inch in front. He might have got away with it, but he didn't risk it. So that's 3 quick tries, and we're already up to 19-0 after 16 minutes. And they've done a lot of tackling, these Koreans. They've got to find some juice in the tank to put Hong Kong under a bit of pressure here. Han Kum-in again goes quite high. That's a little bit deeper. Sullivan again with Higgins and Kemp. It's a little bit high, but they try and get a couple of metres out of it. Kemp's at the back there, presenting it. There, look at this. They just demolished straight through the Korean thin white line. Rosley with the quick hands. Axton Barrett wasn't expecting it, perhaps. Tidies up. Larry Sayers helps out. Higgins, and he nearly breaks out of one. Everybody's breaking tackles today. Rosley looks downfield and decides to bang that one down off that cannon boot of his. Finds a bit of plastic turf, but they're offside. So there's a penalty in midfield, about 8 metres in their own half, Hong Kong. But a lot of tackles missed already, Jed.
Well, Korea just showing some signs here that it might just start coming apart at the seams. They need some leadership to step up at the moment. Heads are starting to bobble. Front row forwards are starting to sweat. It's going to be very, very uncomfortable for the next 60 minutes if they keep on this trajectory. Hong Kong, they're playing this well. They're playing this particular team very nicely indeed. Spreading the ball, making them chase it a bit, making life just that bit more uncomfortable for the strong Korean pack. And even though it is a small ground, it's a terrifyingly hot day. They won't be fancying the chase at all.
So Rosley puts them back in their own half by about 15 metres in front of the Forsgate stand. Post. Posts another one to field, and the Koreans not contesting at all there. Not only not contesting, but not really trying to go at them once they come back to ground. Slater to Higgins. Good hands from the prop forward. Really showing all the skills. There's so many handling errors here 2 weeks ago. The Spitz goes to ground. Higgins again. This is ridiculous. Pops it up. And, well, that was just a bridge too far, perhaps. Popping off the ground there, but he's beaten about 5 tackles already in this game, Ben Higgins. A high shot on Tyler Spitz. Is there such a thing?
Tough to call, isn't it, when you ever look at it? He's hit the ground running, hasn't he, Benny Higgins? He's already probably knocked up more metres ball in hand today than he might have done during the premiership. Possibly being a little bit unkind.
There he is. Kemp and Higgins having an absolute field day. Post with no carry so far, but he's, and I was going to say, hasn't done anything wrong at the line out there, but that was a miscommunication. Rosley misses a tackle, and there's a little knock on, was there? No, here's the Koreans camped down in their own quarter now. They've got some real gas, we know. He just ran straight out, Lee Jai Bok, before he got to Sayers. And the big frame of Sayers there was enough to encourage little Lee Jai Bok to run over the sideline. So we know they've got some pace, man, don't we, Jed? And it would just be good to see guys like Jang Song Min, Lee Jai Bok, Kim Namuk, and Hong Sung Jun just getting away a bit.
I think that last play from Korea showed quite a bit. Shuffled it across their own try line, and with each pass you can see them all losing the will to live.
Post gets it right this time, and he's got it at the back. Scored a try in Malaysia last week off a line out like this. Still they keep going. The Koreans are all over the place. Someone needs to communicate. The little scrum half probably. He's got to be talking to these forwards. Jack Neville, it looks like, look at the confidence from Jack Neville. Try number 2 for Jack Neville. You can see the confidence oozing out of his pores. And Hong Kong bluster their way up to 23 points here after 21 minutes.
Jackie Neville punching through and getting another one. Just good pressure play. It's consistent. Pressure being applied by Hong Kong. Slater Millen again gets them away beautifully, and Jackie Neville gets them on the dance floor. And when you dance with Jack Neville, you dance with the devil.
Well, a desperate arm came flying out from Jiang Song Min, but he was already gone past. Beat 3 tackles there with a couple of right footers. Jack Neville. The self-belief is huge right now. Rosley with another easy one here. And this looks incredibly ominous after 22 minutes. It's a point a minute. It's more than a point a minute. That's 26-0 after 22 minutes. And the outside backs here really showing their class.
Today for the Kowloon Flyer. He's made number 12 there, Jiang. Well, he's just given it the old open door policy, I think. Might claim it's the sun in their eyes, but they're burning pretty bright at the moment, Hong Kong.
Yeah, Jiang's one of their most experienced players out there, and he's the kind of guy that needs to stand up and rally the troops around. Very young, inexperienced side. Kim Namuk is the other elder statesman out there today. He's in 14, and Lee Jai Bok at fullback. Most of the forwards are fairly young, and they've left their 2 Japan-based second rowers back at home. They're not here today, and that's going to mean a difficult time at lineouts, and they get a shot here on the near side. They're in the attacking zone. It wasn't such a great exit this time. They got out of their 22, but here we go. Kim Jeep. Oh, and they just roll it in. Little Kang Min Jun sets them off there. Lee Koo Sung, the tight head prop, getting involved. Here is Jiang Song Min. He is absolutely outstanding when he gets the ball. Let's hope we see more of him. The arm is out. So Korea now with a chance. Hong Kong probably happy to test out their defensive systems for a change. Good tackle by Spitz and Rosley, tag teaming there. Kang Min Jun away again. This is Kim Do-kun. And Higgins all over the place there. In the old days, you just pick that ball up, claiming ignorance. Number 5 it was, Sullivan offside. What do they do here? Where's their attitude at?
What do you try and do? You try and break the tempo of this Hong Kong side, slow them down, take the 3, at least break the duck, get off the donuts. Or you plug the corner and have a go at it. No. Let's all just take stock here, I think it's a call, and probably the right choice as well for Korea. Just going to do something to disrupt this current state of flow that the Hong Kong side are in at the moment. At the end of the day, 3 on the board looks a lot better than 0.
Yes, and that's what happened to Malaysia last week. They found themselves on 0 after 80 minutes. Didn't really look like scoring at all, not even from the boot. Hong Kong's discipline was good. It was a scrappy game. Han Kumin, 5 from 8 this series, his first series. It's interesting seeing that it was Kim Do-kun, the lock there, that was telling him to kick it. I think he just wanted a break. And the skipper, of course, Cha Sung-kun, came in and said, yeah, let's do that. Han Kumin, and he's got it over. Saw him kicking in the warm-up. He was knocking them from about 50 metres out. No problem. So they're on the board at last, but they trail heavily, 26 points to 3. As Coach Seo looks on. Probably not going to get too excited about that yet. I guess what he wanted to come away with from this series with is some improvement from this young side that he's put together. They don't play much rugby outside of the ARC. Typically, they get 4 internationals. They don't have much of a domestic season. some of their players do play in Japan. As Rosley gets us back underway. Goes way down deep. Here is the point scorer, Han Kumin, and he's got that one out this time. Neville was back there. They won't give it to him too readily anymore. He'll bring it back at them with venom.
Well, good position from the restart for Hong Kong. Their pattern's been pretty simple at the moment. They're quite keen to box Korea up into the first contact and then push him wide.
Ben Axton Barrett with the burst. Cha takes him down the white line, trying to get back. Rosley again. Sullivan gets taken low by this fly-off Han Kumin. And somehow they've turned this. Looks like it was Kim Jun-hyuk in 13 that pinched the ball, and they kick it down. It's a wasted kick. Here comes Sayers. It's an open, broken... Oh, goodness me! He is in pain, Harry Sayers. I think that was not intentional as Grant Kemp metes out some justice. It's all on here at the football club. And I really don't think it needs to be. He went in hard and Sayers slipped. And it looked very nasty and very high. And that's what they're discussing right now. Goodness me, Jed.
Well, I think the reaction of the players said it all. I mean, there we go. He's taken an absolute clanger there, and then everyone's just stopped dead anyway.
See him slip there.
Oh, look, there's obviously some factors. He's got a fairly clean shot being put on him. The medical team will go straight to work, and they're fantastic, aren't they? They always have been here in Hong Kong as the referees go through their process. Charlie Brown from Singapore telling him what we saw. Well, we can tell him what we saw, and that was a winger getting a fairly heavy touch from a front row forward. That really isn't ever going to work out well. That's not a great equation for a winger.
A great chase by the prop, you know, you don't often see that. And is it red? I think that's the only question here. Yellow or red? And let's hope young Harry Sayers is okay on the floor.
So Liam Sladen in there to start trying to exact a little bit of pressure, get inside the referee's mind. It's probably not going to happen though. I think they've... And we'll have a chat to this boy. Here's the fella. This is the culprit. There we go. This could be
Oh,
La Rouge.
La Rouge. Oh, that's terrible luck. And the replacement, loose head, he's replaced the skipper, Na Kwon Young. He's a young man here. Very young. And that's a shame, but that's maybe the right call. And no warning to Grant Kemp for coming in and his version of justice as the Hong Kong unwanted and unwashed watch on. Harry Sayers has left the field. He's on his feet. He looks okay, but wouldn't be surprised if he's been concussed with a solid blow. Coming on is Lewis Warner for his 6th international cap.
Hong Kong swing down straight to the attack. Yeah. Lord Harry Sayers. That one. Well, he might be filling that one for a couple of days. I think the bell's got a good ringing there.
3 tries. He's one of the leading try scorers. There's 3 players sitting on 3 tries each, and Connor Hartley's not playing today, and Paul Artier's not playing, so they're all going to end up on 3, unless Jack Neville scores another one. Here goes Hong Kong. They've sacked it well. Here have Korea, and they've stolen the ball, have they? No. On they go, Hong Kong. It's not very pretty as the tight head Lee Kyu-sung gets rumbled out the back of that one. Boko is the next cab off the rank. Cunningham's there. He's bobbling around. He picks it up off the floor. Supported by Higgins, who's done a lot of work in this first 28 minutes. Just 14 men defending here. Kemp on his knees. Sladen, the Korean line looks eager, and Rosley, under no real pressure, was thinking a couple of moves ahead, I think. And well defended by Korea for now.
He'll be filthy on himself. Matt Rosley handling error. Hong Kong have been going along like a dream and just had a wee peekaboo. A few of the boys in the back line will be starting to feel a bit fluttery after seeing what happened to Harry Sayer.
To be fair there, I thought Kane Boko might have just got on the eye line of Rosley as the waters come out. Unofficial water break here. Be very welcomed. On comes Shin Ji-min in 17. And off comes number 4, just for the scrum perhaps, Kim Do-kun. Well, he'll stay off for the whole 10.
You don't have to put on weight.
Coach Yeo having to reshuffle his pack a little bit. And if Big Shin Ji-min didn't think he was going to get more than 10 minutes, well, he's going to get 50, so hope his conditioning's up to it.
Crouch!
The all-important bonus point for Hong Kong there.
Sit!
And as time ticks away, 46-point victory to Korea is looking, well, less than certain.
Neville gets a dodgy bounce and the chase is good. He gets tackled off the ball. The arm is out. Oh, well, Kim Jun-hyuk scampers away, but he just got the timing wrong. Did the chasing winger Kim Namuk, the wily old Kim Namuk. Very good chase, and Neville was dealing with some serious skullduggery from the rugby ball.
We pointed it out earlier. Look at that.
Inches.
Just hard to fathom what they're thinking. You just push the guy out of the way and get on with the ball.
He was in the road of the ball. It wasn't so much tackled as just barged aside. But good to see the chase like that, because we don't want the Koreans to throw the towel in yet, throw the bottom lip out. We're going to stay in this and walk off here at the end of this match, having achieved what they wanted to, even if it's not a win. It's a building stage.
Rosley, point of a couple of moments of reflection. Yeah, they've got to keep themselves together, this Korean outfit. Otherwise they could be in real trouble, but maybe almost going to blows with the opposition would bond them up a little bit.
Lewis Warner with his first touch, coming off the blind wing, gets tackled well. That's more good defence from the Koreans. It was a beautiful pass from Sladen to Rosley. Hit the line at pace, off the top of the line out. Beautiful training ground stuff.
Interesting body language out of the Koreans at the moment. There's not a lot being said. No one seems to be talking to each other at all.
No, that's the problem, isn't it, Jed? Some of those counter rucks and mauls they've been involved with, it's every man for himself, as Hong Kong virtually just have their way with the Korean pack. And it's a young scrum half, I think, who's got to chirp up a bit at those occasions. I'm not sure who the spiritual leader is of the forward pack at this stage, with Na Kwan Yong not with the crew. So closing the gap, says the official, and they'll get a shot here. Put something on, let's hope. Just inside, right on the 22, 15 metres in. They want another scrum.
Don't close the gap, please.
And that's good stuff from Korea, attacking Hong Kong.
Yeah, I mean, if they want to get into a rumble, Hong Kong, I'm sure Korea would be quite happy to oblige, and it really takes the focus of the game away from rugby, doesn't it? If they want to get into a physical encounter and butt heads, sort of con Hong Kong off the job. Their mind's thinking about other things. Hong Kong need to just stiffen up here and get the ball back.
Look here, we've got Hong Sung-jung, the lineside winger, just he's in at first receiver almost. Jiang Song-min, superstar's out on the far wing for some reason, so something's going on.
Just hold.
Very flat.
Create this gap, please.
And there's a big blind with Seb Bryan defending it. If Cha happens to go left, which is uncommon, they can wheel it. Sladen's there.
Bind. Set.
Get the scrum right first, Korea.
Just blindside.
That's a good scrum from them. Goes straight to Kim Jin Hyuk. He takes the line on. Rosley takes him down. They come around the corner to the forwards. It's given to Kim Namuk though. They decide to go left this time. There's a few forwards hanging around. Here goes little Kang Min Jun. Scampers out of Rosley's tackle. Seth Bryan WWE's him to the ground. And is that a try? If it is, it's sensational.
Straight into discussion mode go the two officials.
Knock on. Wow. Let's see this replay here.
Great dart back on the short side by the halfback. Has he curled this one around? It's rolled out. Gee whiz, I reckon that's a try.
Had to go forward, surely. Couldn't see it on the live footage. Body's blocking the ball, but here's a chance for the Koreans to try and put this Hong Kong scrum under pressure here. 5 out, 5 in. That was a real chance for Korea. Kang Min Jun, 21, out of university, not afraid to take them on. Slipped out of Rosley's tackle. Seth Bryan did the job. Bit of a body throw. They're very low on this side, aren't they? And they get what they want. Trying to milk the penalty. The arm is out. Free ball here. Sladen throws it straight to Jang Seong Min. So with no angle, Rosley will have a chance to clear. 5 minutes left in this first half.
Let's just take a look. Just the closing moments of the last play. Yeah, interesting, isn't it? We have Korea, they've got themselves some territory, they've got themselves a bit of possession. Still look a little bit, well, they still look a bit scattered, to be honest, Korea. I don't know if they've even really gotten off the plane, to be fair. There's aspects of their play at the moment that sort of defy the scoreline.
Post again. Field goes up. No worries at all there. They start to get the drive on here and push it well out of the 22. Trying to sap a bit more energy from these Koreans. Sladen always having a look. Rosley to Neville, the in, the out, the fend. Classic Neville work. Lewis Warner with a second touch. Takes on a couple of defenders, tries to split them. And Spitz there nearly gives away an easy try to the Koreans. But they weren't onside. I'm not sure if Spitz was playing for the free ball there. Jack Neville there. It's classic, isn't it? Them in, out, fend, gone.
Yeah, there's a lot going on there in 3 strides, wasn't there? Both socks up, shorts nice and tight.
Many men would have blown an ankle or a knee in one of those moves. Rosley from 45 out in the centre of the park. Oh, he's nailed that one. 6 or 7 metres out from the corner flag. He's absolutely nailed it. It's demoralising for the Koreans now, trudging back for this line out, which is operating like a well-oiled machine. Who's going to bet against Finn Field? Perhaps they'll go further to the back for a roll around.
He's impressed for Hong Kong. Alex Post in this Asia Rugby Championship, his first. And he's come in and made, well, I hate to say it, every post a winner.
They've sacked it well again. Well done by the Koreans. And they've got the ball, have they hit? This will be a... Sladen still looks confident that they have it. Yes, he fishes it out there. Tries to. It's locked down. Field gets himself up at that line out ruck and has another shot here. Cunningham's millimetres away. 3 minutes left on the clock. Who's that? Is it Post? Post must be over. And Post can't post one. He doesn't deliver, the postman. And this is good defence from the Koreans. That's Cunningham. Gets another bite at the cherry. Sladen goes wide. Rosley could have scored himself. Gives it out to Spitz. And try number 5. Great work from the forwards and the Korean defence. It held, and then it buckled out wide. Great try.
Yeah, they just crawl on them, don't they? Pinch a yard, taking 2 players, pinch another yard, taking another player. They just run out of numbers out wide. Some good hard yards being taken by the Hong Kong forwards. Matt Rosley, well, I'll be starting to call him Santa Claus the way he's dishing out tries at the moment.
Yeah, it was opening up like the Red Sea in front of him. He could easily have probably just gone through a gap there, Rosley. I guess he feels as the oldest man out there, is his job to make the others shine. And he's doing that well. He's coming onto the ball. Sladen and Rosley are going well in the halves pairing. 3 from 4 today. Puts him on 37 points for the series. I'm sure his good buddy, the Biltong chief, will be tuning in from Ireland to watch this match. Dylan Rogers.
Never too early in the morning for a protein boost. Grass-fed, mind you.
So with just over a minute remaining, it's 31-3 at the moment. Rosley, he's all concentration, and he's going to bend it in. No, he hits the woodwork right in front of the sportsman. So it stays 31-3, a minute left on the clock. And there is a Matt Rosley supporter there. Someone's brought the Matt Rosley masks out. Spitz with the score. He's the second most experienced player out there today. 28 caps today. Cunny Cunningham's ahead of him on 29. His 29th cap today. Low budget flags out there.
Career back to square one. Period of play, 6 or 7 minutes down the Hong Kong corner. Hong Kong just battled them back, patted them back, took the points. They're actually putting in a very, very tidy performance, Hong Kong, in the first 40.
And there you have it, one of the most unbelievable dummies ever sold in rugby by Grant Kemp. That's 2 this game, but that one was outrageous. Rosley goes deep. Lee Jai Bok, they're going to be split down the middle by Rosley. They get a nice bounce. They let it bounce twice. The hoot is gone. And yes, they're going to have a crack here. Field and Cunningham with the tackle on big Cha Song Kun. And they won't want to be putting the ball out just yet. They've had very rare phase play where they've put together more than 3 or 4, and this is good. They're into the Hong Kong half. Armours out. Kang Min Jun fires it out against Cha. He started it off with that return. So it was a free ball. Hooter's gone. Korea. They could probably kick this if they wanted to have a crack at 3.
Yeah, well, I think they're going to go to the polls, I think. When I say the polls, I mean the goalposts. The Korean side just lacking any genuine answers here. And they have gone very, very quiet indeed. It's either someone's going to get a rocket put right up them at half time, or the coach is going to have to go for some wholesale changes, but it really did knock the wind out of their sails, losing the front row.
Yeah, they came into this match looking for an improved handling performance. They were very conscious that the first 3 rounds they dropped a lot of ball. They haven't dropped much ball today. Can't remember a drop ball. They haven't had much ball though. So from that respect, they're achieving that little small goal. He goes low and hard, does Han Kumin, got the distance easily, but it doesn't have the direction. And they cannot finish the half with any more points. And it's very hot, and everyone's deserved a well-deserved break. Half-time here at the football club. It's one-way traffic. Randy Hall will be reasonably happy with that performance. 5 tries to his men. And as he talks to Amanda Baker there, possibly about Harry Sayers, it's 31-3 here. We'll be back shortly with some highlights from the first half. Don't go away.
唉，好在。
Welcome back to the football club, where Hong Kong have a very strong lead over Korea, 31 points to 3. They scored 5 tries in the first half. Let's take a look at some of that action now.
Side
here.
that is as these two
There's
teams
the
come.
beautiful trophy that we're playing. Sladen's there, of course. Rosley could score himself. Seth Bryan, no, it's Jack Neville on Seth Bryan's wing, and the Kowloon started early with Neville. First of his 2 tries for Seth Bryan. Finished off that beautiful effort from 80 metres out. Rosley with the quick tap and go. And the Korean defence really caught napping. It shouldn't be there. He's got one to beat. It was all one-way traffic in a 20-minute spell there in the middle of the first half. Ben Axton Barrett there with a good bit of footwork, the hands to match. And the forwards are laying the platform for Hong Kong, and then it's the backs who are finishing off. There's Neville's second, and they've scored 5, all in the backs. But the tight 5 have done the job here, Jed, on the Koreans.
Well, they have, and they've played very smartly, Hong Kong. It's a physical, robust, combative outfit from Korea. They love to get it in the mix. They don't mind getting down and getting stuck into some trench warfare, but Hong Kong have done enough to corral up the big boys and find some space out wide, and they've been absolutely ruthless. Let's look at these stats.
Look at those tackles there, Korea. 49 tackles they've had to make. And they've only put together 15 phases. And look on the other side of the ledger, 50 phases for Hong Kong. That just tells you the possession dominance that Hong Kong are having. Only 3 handling errors, and that will please both sides. Andrew Hall was rather furious with the efforts here 2 weeks ago against Malaysia. 24 drop balls against a shadow side, you might say, that day. And they only just got across the line against Malaysia, 30 points to 24. Really, some of the crowd here were on edge, and that big matchup as the Hong Kong team make their way back out onto the field. It'll be interesting to see how Coach Hall uses his bench. He's got a very inexperienced set of tight forwards on the bench there. Callum McFeed-Smith just on 1 cap, along with Faisal Solomona, and Mitch Andrews on 2. That's the front row bench. Very competitive set of blokes. Very little international rugby amongst them. And there's Coach Seo. What's he said at half-time? Surely won't be happy with the scoreline. They did lose by 47 points here last season, 47 points to 5.
Andrew Hall be happy with his last couple of weeks as the national coach. They've bounced back from a very average performance against Malaysia. He took them out last week in style, 71 points to 0 in KL, and they've fronted up back on their home turf. These men in the Hong Kong blue, and they've squared Korea right up, and in their first 40, give it to them. And he's one of the guys that's come on in this series, leaps and bounds. Callum McCulloch. He just adds a couple of good dimension at line-out time. Craig Hammond will be quite happy to have another target. The way Alex Post has been throwing, he's been easy to find. There's been a change at half-time as Mitch Andrews comes out. Korea, well, what 40's in store for them?
And Kumin goes deep. It's taken by Finn Field. Spoke to his father, Rick Field, who travelled to Malaysia last week. Great support from the family. He's very pleased with how Finn went.
Stay down.
He's done it all, hasn't it, Ricky? He's flown to KL to watch a game. He's been watching games at 33,000 feet. He's
Over Russia.
He deserves a little badge.
That's right. Let's not forget Korea, still down to 14 men and will be for the rest of the game. Lee Hyun-soo was sent from the field after a crazy... Here goes Jack Neville, the show and the go. Sladen was a little bit behind him. He couldn't reel it in. Poor pass, unfortunately, finished off that scintillating break. He just goes through those gaps. Very...
Look at the change up here. It's just the last moments of that ball going to ground, but Jack Neville, within 3 or 4 strides, he just left them grasping at air.
I don't want to... It sort of reminds me of Cullen, Christian Cullen. Of course, different levels, of course, but the way he just goes through gaps like that, he's deceptively quick. He's a glider. Probably won't be mentioned in the same breath as Christian Cullen, but you can also say the Korean defence may be making him look a little bit good at times. They've fallen off a lot of tackles. They've also made a lot. Here they go with a good steady scrum. Han Kumin. Here's Jiang Song-ming, the danger man. Spitz, well known for his tackles. Goes in with the chop tackle. Brings Jiang down, and that was crucial. Jiang's lost his number off his shirt too. Spitz has tackled the number right off his shirt. And more defence. This time Callum McCulloch as Kim Jeep takes it to ground. These first few minutes of the second half is always eager defence. This time it's Kim and Cunningham with the gang tackle. Kang Min-jun pops it back to Han Kumin, and he puts the leather on that one and gets it only as far as Rozzy looks up and he sees a huge amount of grass beckoning, and he's bounced that nicely, has Rosley, and they're way back, way belong where they started as Hong Sung-jun chases that one back. There is Neville.
Matt Rosley carving off some great territory for Hong Kong down in front of the members' stand. And that was a superb kick, beautifully weighted, ran smoothly into touch. Rosley, he's provider, he's tactician, quite often his first line of defence. He's going well today.
Kim Jeep hits Park Yi-chan, the young man. They only put 15 phases together in the first half. They put 4 or 5 together already. They're not getting far though, as Kim Yo-han has a carry and Ben Exton Barrett takes him. Lee Jai Bok sees something opening up. No, there's nothing on, but making something out of it is substitute Shin Hyun-seong. It was a 3 against 1 situation. He stepped inside all 3 of them, but the covering was good. Swooping around a Slater when he pops up a ball to Rosley, who's missing his headgear. It doesn't matter though. The 2 South African-born pivots have conspired against a little run of play there for Korea, and try number 6 is on the board early in the second half.
Well, poor old Korea, they just cannot get a break at the moment. Matt Rosley finally deciding to score a try himself after putting himself in a suitably difficult position.
That's what happens when you take the headgear off.
Deserved try for the Hong Kong playmaker at the moment. Working hard all day. Just quietly going about his business, putting guys into space. Keeping that back line nice and loaded for when the opportunity comes. Korea, they try. I've got to give them some credit. They are throwing every trick in the book at Hong Kong at the moment. Hong Kong are just on top of them.
They've run out of kitchen sinks, I think. That's a 6th try to the backs as well. Rosley converts his own. And Mitch Andrews is on the field for his 3rd cap. Alex Post is off. Good shift from Post. There'll be no let up for the Koreans with Mitchie Andrews on the field. As we see it many times here, wrecking ball. There's the other hooker in the mix, Dane Jans.
Well, Dane Jans, he's tested and improved, isn't he? He's been a hell of a baller in the Premiership. It's a sad sight for Connor Hartley fans. Strapped up, no business today. And it's a good idea to be bringing your own fans down to the footy.
38-3, just 5 minutes into the second half. Boko, he's the go-to man on the return. Gets a seatbelt tackle. Ref says that's fine. And Rosley looks to unload. He doesn't look happy with it. Got a bit of a slice going there. They've just made it outside the 22. It's effective. The exit's okay. The sun gets a bit lower and the sun's right into the Hong Kong players' eyes here. There is that phase play. 52 Hong Kong phases against Korea 22. They put 7 on this half already.
Rosley fired up on defence. Maybe there's something coming his way.
Skipper Cha Sung Kun ducks inside one. Around come the big boys. There's Jiang Xiongmin again. This time it's Axton Barrett that goes low on him. They know how dangerous he is. Lee Jai Bok gets it out wide to Kim Namuk, the 29-year-old from Kepco. Oh, it was a very flat ball to Kim Johan. He was ahead of the ball. And Kang Min Jun just threw it at him anyway. Sullivan tidies up. And, well, a couple more phases there for Korea, but they butchered it at a standing start. Ben Axton Barrett decides to, and he puts a really decent kick in too, but a little bit of advantage being played. And you could argue that that might have been enough. He kicked it down to the 22, but at least now they might get the put in.
Some running repairs to the big units. And still James Cunningham soldiers on. Bit of a bang early on. Stayed in the mix. He immediately got up and tried the old chip and chase. Obviously a fan of the Casey Stone school of not having to run at anyone, and Matt Rosley as a boa.
That's right. Every golfer has a shank, and that was a big shank there for Rosley. He's going to get it back though. They would have had more advantage with that Axton Barrett kick downtown, and Rosley gets a wobbly old bounce. He's got Neville with him. What can they conjure up from here? Neville this time just decides to hoof it downtown. He's done well. Didn't really have many players with him. Bako was there, but I'm sure the forwards rather see the ball out at halfway than trying to get round behind a fullback who's caught on his 22. Substitutions here as Solomona comes on, and Callum McFeet-Smith comes on for his second cap.
Big man, centre frame of the shot at the moment. Came on against Malaysia last weekend in KL and started carting bodies around. We'll see what sort of fizz he's got in him today. Look at this run, brilliant stuff.
Good break there from Kim Namut. He's the go-to guy. Another terrible pass there though, just throwing it forward, letting themselves down a little bit. Very few handling errors in the first half. We've seen them botch a couple already, and they've earned themselves a penalty. Blind winger coming in there, beautifully timed. They're going to pump it down towards the sideline by the looks. Jamie Lauder is also on in jersey number 21 for Hong Kong on his home track. His fourth cap today. And they're going to have a shot actually. So up steps number 10 Han Kumin.
I guess it is about making the scoreboard tick over and perhaps creating some scoreboard pressure. Primarily on the person doing the scoring.
And the bloke kicking the ball. He's on the 40 or the 10. It's interesting how they've been taking Jiang Xiongmin down low. Hasn't had any chances. Spits and Axton Barrett. It's on its way. It's nice and high. And it's to the left. So
it was a monster kick. It was an absolute whopper.
Yeah, he got right under it, didn't he? So Sladham's off. He's done his dash for today. He's been very, very good. And as you said, Kemp and Higgins were absolutely dynamic around the field in their 50 minutes, sorry. Neville with the...
It's an intriguing 30 minutes remaining for Hong Kong at the moment. It's cleared the bench out. It's a pretty fresh looking crop of players, isn't it? But how will they finish? There's a lot of leaderships left to park. Sladham away. Obviously Grant Kemp's away.
Rossley bangs it straight downtown. There's 6 Koreans behind the ball here. They could launch something here, but no, they go to the toe. And they've gained about 15 metres, but Just denying themselves a rare chance of possession there. I would have thought Mitchy Andrews doing a bit of work off the ball there. So we see Lewis Warner there. We've got Robbie Keith still to come, Sam Choi and Craig Lodge. This looks like it's going to field. Mitch Andrews and Finn Field not quite as on song as Post and Field. Korea with the ball at the base. In goes Choi Seong-diok. Just 20 years old, that number. Oh, unbelievable. It's starting to unravel here.
Yeah, that was lazy. Unfortunate for Korea. But again, just in these close quarter engagements, Hong Kong really turning up the volume. Mitch Andrews, New Zealand-born Hong Kong hooker. He really is. Well, he loves it. He loves getting in there. He will be feeling like a pig in the proverbial.
Mitch the Destroyer. He's got Callum McPhee-Smith as teammate from Football Club on his left. He's got Faisal Solomona from Scottish on his right. It's an all-new front row.
Just interested to see that former Faisal Solomona at the moment. Dropping in on the tight head side. He's got the big pumpers there, all right. There's no doubt about it. He's got the prop look.
It's a great ground shot there across the field and just buckling under the pressure, Korea.
Elbow down, throw down.
And Solomona will be chalking that up to a victory for him.
Yeah, I think the Korean prop made a bit of a meal of that. Made an attempt to almost duck him, to be fair.
Another chance for Rosley to put it deep into the Korean territory, which he does. Interesting to see if he goes the full 80 today, or will we see Robbie Keith come on? He could come on at 10 or 15, and Neville could go to fly half, who knows?
Well taken.
Yeah, good work from Sullivan on that occasion. Mitchy Andrews hits the target. Lauder's the pivot. Lauder's in there, he's eager. He's trying to make an impact. Rosley to Neville. They're up it again. Seb Bryant gets taken high by a couple. Lauder clears. There's some heavy traffic in the middle there, and that's a good tackle from Shinji Min going low. Armour's out. They're in the 22 now. Lauder fires it wide. Rosley, Ben Axton Burrett, Spitz, Boko, who's on the end? Oh, Cunningham.
Well, he might be willing to chalk that one up to the significant bang he took early in the game. Not looking overly impressed with themselves. We just watched the last pass. Boko spoons it. And Cunningham grasses it. So 6 and 8 will be taking just a quick look at each other to see if they recognise each other again.
Boko's been hooked. Surely not as a result of that pass, and Sullivan as well. So on comes Craig Lodge and Sam Choi. That's the end of the forwards reserves. Sam Choi, Men's Development Player of the Year in Hong Kong. Just 20 years old, out of the Kowloon Club, earning his 3rd cap today. Craig Lodge earning his 4th cap out of the Tigers Club. 2 metres tall. Tallest man out there, and he's got a chance here if Mitch Andrews decides.
Well, they might just want to pull this one down and punch it straight over. I don't think they have to do anything fancy. Oh, they've missed the chance.
They've botched it. Things really are unravelling for both sides here. And here's a good run out of the defensive zone by substitute there, Park Jun-young. They get some hands with some very limited room there. Jiang Xiong-min gets taken in a low tackle once more and spilled out again. There's mistakes all over the park in this last few minutes. 3 handling errors in the first half, and we've seen 6 or 7 already in this opening 15, 16 minutes. They look good when they try and get going, don't they? But Hong Kong's defence is pretty well organised. Still 38-3 here. Just this one try in the second half to Rosley. And there's a Korean down and back plate.
Oh, he doesn't look well. Doesn't look well. Doesn't look like the legs are cooperating. Might have been offered a bit of advice along the lines of toughen up.
That's the fly half. Han Kumin. On comes Kim Kimin. 22.
Ian Exton Barrett, you may not have known about his educated right boot, but he certainly has one. Occasionally lets it go for his premiership team club.
So it's going to be Kim Kim-in with the first touch. He's going to try and pump this deep. Oh, and he's sliced it. Not a good first effort from him. He made about 6 metres. They'll have a line out just inside their own half, the Koreans, as the ball boys look for a ball. The crowd having a good time here today. Temperature coming off maybe half a degree since the game started, and won by Finn Field at the front. Sam Choi juggles it there. They're way behind the gain line. Ref said play on. Exton Barrett goes to that boot and he's cooked that one. Has he? Yes. A couple of inches in that one. There he is. He's cross with himself, but he needn't be. He was going backwards. He's done so well in this series going backwards, hasn't he? He's been caught behind the gain line. Not his fault, and he's rescued his teammates a couple of times in the series.
Yeah, well, he's a pretty robust character, isn't he? Ben Exton Barrett. Pretty vigorous physical game that he possesses. Inside centre. Here he is, Lodgy.
Lodge comes through, pops it up to Callum McFeed-Smith, who's on the outside. Callum McCulloch nearly trips over. No one's going to get him. Then the forwards finally get on the scoring sheet here. Against the line out, it was ugly. Lodge swooped on it and timed the pass beautifully. And McCulloch, he's been such a find in this series. What a breakthrough season for him. His second try in this year's tournament. Fantastic stuff.
Well, just reward for the big man. Look at him looping up on the outside. Or he just about lost his lunch money on the way to school. Eventually gets there, and then, you know, it's a glorious try to be scoring in an international game, but the VA is just going to be all about the bobble, isn't it? You're not going to see this. You're not going to see the pass, the catch, the step, the outpacing, the dot down. It's just going to be, well, what happened there, Callum? Can you just explain to us? Can you just talk us through your thinking?
Probably right in front of his parents too there on the force gate stand. But he finished the job off. That was a smile of relief, wasn't it? Rosley's still going after 59. Adding to his total in this series. He's crossed the 40-point mark. It all came from 2 line-outs in a row that the Koreans were unable to win, and he's missed that one, Matthew Rosley, and it looks like he's coming off now. Robbie Keith's coming on. Where will he go? Good shift from the Statesman. Here he goes, front on. Ooh, goodness me.
Dear, oh dear, oh dear.
He even goes for the dummy on the inside.
Yeah, if you're going to do it wrong, you might as well do it all wrong.
Good effort
There
from
he is.
Rosley.
There's one for the future. Keep your eyes on that young champion there, ladies and gentlemen. Could turn out like that champion there.
Was that a young Slayton? Here we go then, 43 points to 3, 20 minutes remaining. Robbie Keith's on for Hong Kong. Where will he slot in? He's on for his 11th cap today. And everyone's just let that bounce on the floor. Choi was just looking to lift Finn Field without looking at the ball. Ben Exton Barrett with the break. Look at this. They come streaming through. It's about 6 on 1. Lewis Warner, he hasn't got the gas. Jang's going to get him. Great tackle from Jang Song Min on the 22, looking for reinforcements. Law gets the call from the man who started it. What a bump off, and he's throwing that forward, surely. The ref's right there, he lets it go. It's a first international try for Faisal Solomona. And they've gone 90 metres. What a cracker from Hong Kong.
Well, book the big table at KFC tonight, ladies and gentlemen. There's going to be a big old party. What a do. I think I'm going. I'm going to get one of those haircuts. Here we are. Here we go. Good thinking to keep it short side. I thought for a look at that. He's danced on the line. He hasn't gone out. And he's ate nothing but a chicken wing. Ladies and gentlemen, enjoy the side of big front row going in for a wee pork pie.
Well, he deserves it, getting all the way down the field to support a midfield bust by the backs. Fresh legs and all. But you're right, there's a couple of quarter packs deserved. Jack Neville, Ben Exton Barrett there. We'd love to see a sideline replay there, just showing how close he was. Tap dancing down that sideline. Thought he'd thrown it inside forwards, but the ref was there. Neville with his first shot of the day, successful. 2 tries, 1 conversion for him. And life goes on without
Jack
Bass
Neville,
Rosley.
Score tries, he can make tackles, he can kick goals, plays the guitar, like Snom walks on the beach.
Trains Dolphins.
There he is, Faisal.
Big moment for him and his family. Second match for his adopted country. And they'll be dead proud of him. Also down at the Hong Kong Scottish Club. So the 50 is up here. And it took a while to get the machine going again, but it's 2 tries quite quickly. 3.5. And that is exactly what you don't want after a big score like that.
Well, boyish looks of the new Korean fly half. He may not be sticking around too much longer if the forwards get a hold of him. It was a poor mistake, wasn't it?
Yeah, he shanked that first kick for touch as well, so the timing not going for Kim Kim-in. And, well, one man who's smiling is the try scorer. He's carried that smile from the try, and he couldn't have wished for better luck than this to have a scrum straight after his try. It looks like Alex Post is back on for some reason. Is Mitch Andrews injured, or was he on temporarily? Not sure, but Alex Post is back in front. Sam Choi on the side and 20. They get the shove on off the back. Goes Cunningham, and Robbie Keith gets his first touch of the game, and Seb Bryan's with him. Lord is there. Lodge gets it over the 10-metre line. Getting barreled back in that tackle, Choi Seung-jok, number 6. Neville here, he will not be contained. Just pins his ears back, makes a half a gap where there isn't one. Finn Field is the link man. And they're just working it patiently downfield. I think that was Sam Choi with the fumble, unfortunately. And they lost it for a moment. The Koreans are lined up here. Can they work it into space? Good work from Kim Ji. Are there any gas men out there? It's all forwards, isn't it? Look at the space from Kim Yo-han. Jack Neville gets across and chops them down. They still have the ball though, Korea. There's no one there to fish it out. Park Yi-chan and 5. They've lost all momentum. Hong Kong has got itself back into shape on defence. There's a Korean down, writhing in pain there. Little Kang Min-jun pops it up. There's a pod. The pod gets hammered by Post and Faisal Solomona. Goes nowhere. And there's more big defence coming in here. It's been towed through. It's all action. There's another Korean down, writhing in pain and agony. That was spectacular, wasn't it?
Well, a few things come through. I think Tyler Spitzbottle got up there and made himself well known. He's introduced himself in a big way there. Look at that. Shot right on the floating rim. And yeah, big man. That would have hurt.
Well, he's
Feeling
given
a
up.
bit stung. If he's turning around to have a look at the dude who did it to him, he might be greatly disappointed.
That's right. He's given up 20 kgs. Surely, Jang Song Min.
He's been absolutely stiffened up by Tyler Spitz there. Deserves probably. Well, if he isn't close to being man of the match, Ben Exton Barrett, he won't be too far off it. No, they don't get much. They don't get a car, and they don't get a check, and they don't get a packet of biscuits, but he deserves a pat on the back.
62 tackles, twice as many tackles nearly. How about the bust from Kim Yo Han, the flanker, pacey shape.
Crouch!
They haven't got themselves into that position enough, the Koreans. That's down to this defence as well. Lauder feeds. Scrum's gone reasonably well for the Koreans today, until now, as I mention it. Cunningham's on the back there. Gets one around the neck, but it's okay. It's a little bit untidy. Lauder clears it away to Neville. He's played pivot now. Robbie Keith gone into fullback, and he gets hurried towards the sideline. That's great defence from the Koreans. That is the substitute there, Shin Hyun Seong in 23. Very good work. Manhandling Keith to the sideline.
It's just a matter now in the last 14 or so minutes. I mean, how strongly Korea can stay on task. Callum McFeet-Smith and Finn Field, both playing on their home ground. He's a good young find, isn't he? McFeet-Smith, big strong man.
They win a good line out, the Koreans. All substitutes combining. Park with the thrust, but Solomona comes away with the ball. Gets up, goes again. Lauder. Great service he's giving here. Field. Seb Bryan steps inside 2 or 3. Oh, he goes for the cheeky kick over the top. Not sure that was the right move. It would have been glorious if it had come off. But he had runners inside and out.
Some great vision being shot by the camera team here at the football club this afternoon. Seb Bryan, that initial step with his right foot, took 3 players out, and then where he speculator went over the top. He's a bit of a threat, isn't he, every time he gets near the thing.
Lee Jai Bok was waiting for it. Lodge goes high and gets it. Lauder's the first receiver, and coming around is Neville. There's a straight line being run by Spitz, and he can't pop it up to Robbie Keith. In fact, it was forward. That's how good it was. That was pretty slick indeed. More misery. Who's down here?
It's hot. We're behind. Oh, oh, oh. What a great tackle, wasn't it? Absolutely desperation stuff. Right round the bootlaces, kids. Don't forget that. They can't get to the line if they can't stride.
Well, Hong Kong have not conceded a try in these 2 matches anyway. 0 last week, 0 this week. And to be fair, the Koreans have not really threatened the Hong Kong try line so far. They're running out of time to do so. 11 minutes left. Kang Min Jun, they've kicked it through.
Just about thought they might have come off the result. Have they rolled them off it? They
Finally it comes back. Ben Exton Barrett, surely he's just going to go here. Yeah, the big man. He won't be stopped from that distance. No way, Jose. And it's a second try for Ben Exton Barrett after a demoralising scrum by the forwards.
Well, he can deserve the smile, this man. It's been a hell of a performance today. He's been stuck in the middle of everything. Broken them wide open. Look at the power here. Just look, you can't hold me, and you just better get out of the way. And it is a bit wishy-washy from Korea, let's be honest, but they've been battered all day by Hong Kong. And this man in your screen right now, he's been leading the charge both sides of the ball.
Tell you what, the two players that Axton Barrett broke through there are still struggling to get off the ground. Lee Jai Bok was one, and the other was Kim Namuk. Kim Namuk's still on the ground. His legs are flailing around like a fish out of water. I think it was his bicep or shoulder that he clutched at immediately as he took the contact. Let's hope he's okay. That's just, he's just bludgeoned his way through there, Axton Barrett. There's nothing fancy about that. No sidestep, no fend. Just tucked the ball under the wing and steamrolled through what was left of a small gap. Here we go, 57-3, Jed.
Strong performance. One man playing the inside centre role for Hong Kong today. You'll be able to look back on this game with immense pride. Didn't get the greatest run at it when they came here against Malaysia. We've seen his form throughout the Hong Kong Premiership. He is one of the stars of the local game. This is this kid here, Jamie Lauder. I've got to actually give some compliments to the Hong Kong halfbacks today. They've been serving up some real fine feasting for the team. Look out, here we go.
Callum McCulloch with a clean break. He comes up, he's got two defenders. Post is coming outside him like a train.
Oh, he's done it all!
McCulloch in for a second. I think Post even fell over. That is dynamite here at the football club. They're raining tries on Korea. And Andy Horwell, he says, get that KFC lined up.
Yeah, buckets away, ladies and gentlemen. Let's have a look at this one. This one is a cracker. Callum McCulloch. Right, the pick and go. There's no one home. So he's through the gate and he's off. Now watch this one. Players going one way, shadows going the other. He's thrown the beauty. It's an absolute beauty. He's done them all. He couldn't fall. There's only one cameraman on the team that he couldn't fall. That was this bloke.
My word, did you see Post outside him? Almost overtook him. He provided the subterfuge from McCulloch, and that is just beautiful.
Yeah, well, I think Alex Pace genuinely thought he was going to get it.
It's a brace for McCulloch. What a rookie season he's had. Breakthrough here. First season in the national team. Fourth international, just 25 years old. Neville, he's been given an armchair ride with the kicking duties. Have a look, here it is, front on. There's Post, look.
Snake eyes. Oh, see it.
There's no doubt Post would have been pulled in. Right decision. They're still getting treatment down there from the last try. Two of them. Oh, it's really fallen apart here. It's the fall and rise. The fall of Korea, the rise of Hong Kong. Just 6 clicks on the world rankings, but Korea getting a schooling here. Lodged with the tape, the sun in his eyes, and they're just queuing up now. They've got to keep a lid on this. Can easily fall apart. Robbie Keith. Lewis Warner back to Keith. Jang Song Min comes from behind at him. They're into the Korean half yet again. Lauder up to Finn Field, still going after 74 minutes. The big lock on a short ball. Lodge was looking, clatters into the defensive line. They go behind him. Lee Jai Bok, he scampers back and he's got zero angle, and he's had enough of trying to kick it deep. He's trying to pull something off here, and he's a talented footballer. He doesn't get the bounce there, and here we go.
For love nor money, he can't really get a break today. Korea, you told time and time again in rugby, aren't you, that it's all about creating your own luck. Well, gee whiz, I don't know what Korea could hope to do other than perhaps to sneak up to the timing box and make the clock go faster.
Still a long 5 minutes left. They want a bit of reprieve here with a line-out penalty. There's another Korean on the ground. Exhausting work. 64-3. We'll have to go back through the record books to see what the biggest margin is, Hong Kong against Korea. This might be it. And they've tried to blood new players, but not really sure how far they've gone to achieving their objectives. Taking positives out of this series.
There's some big fish heads sitting in the middle of the screen there. Kevin Taylor, Paddy Donovan, Richard Cook, perhaps the odd one out. Toby Lothian.
Former fish head, Richard Cook. It's a heavyweight pairing there. Seb Bryan ducks under a couple. Gets hauled in by Choi Seung-dok. Cunningham still going. There's fire in them legs. Sam Choi helps him out. Solomona comes around the corner. Is not needed. Short ball to Spitz. Very flat indeed. Charlie Brown's calling it, I think. No, the refs let it go. No, Charlie Brown's got through on the radio. And it was forward after all. The officials taking some time to communicate that, but actually, it wasn't the pass, it's something else.
Neck roll, is that the call? Dangerous tackle from Tyler Spitz. Well, we know he's a dangerous tackler. It's been confirmed now. Dangerous tackle. I'm sure he can get some ointment to clear that up.
Let's not forget that Korea played most of this game, 3/4 of this game, one man down. Solomona at the back, wasn't expecting that. Post gets on it.
Stay on the line.
Lauder to Choi, puts the fend in, goes off the left, the right. Good little burst from him. Neville goes wide this time, misses out Spitz. Seb Bryan gets taken down. They've handled him nicely this last few plays. He's had some chances. Callum McFeet-Smith, they get over the top of them. That's a great tackle out of the blocks by the big man, Kang Seung-hyuk. Callum McCulloch, he's putting on some more magic now. Lewis Warner drops it, he's bombed it. Oh, slippery perspiration on the ball, maybe. And that could have been the 70 coming up. Furious with himself.
Oh, he's dropped a goal.
Perfect pass, wasn't it?
Dear, oh dear. Maybe the sun was a problem. Maybe that's what he's indicating.
Sun.
Possibly the sun.
Oh, he's putting his
Yes,
hand up.
yes, he's
Really telling us now.
very difficult for him to see anything really. He must be blind.
Working the big screen perfectly there, Lewis Warner. Getting the crowd on side.
Crouch.
Last 2 minutes. Koreans persisting with Kang Min-jun. Looks like they're not going to give little Lee Myung-jun a run. Off the back and sideways goes Choi Seung-dok. It's incredibly slow. As we wind down the clock on the series, Hong Kong are just going to attack everything here, and they win the penalty. And perhaps one last chance here for a meat pie to close out the series. They've dominated in all but one game. Hard to believe they could only put 30 points on Malaysia here 2 weeks ago. It was a shadow side, you might say. They bounced back these last 2 weeks. 71-0 last week against Malaysia, 11 tries in KL. Keeping Malaysia to 0 was an achievement. They've kept Korea tryless here today. As Post, he'll probably come around this line out, won't he, and try for one of those classics. Job done. Finn Field once again. There he is. Yeah, Post at the back. He's got the ball in his hand. He's got a good wall ahead of him.
Nice and long.
The Koreans are gathering round.
Off they go. Here he comes.
Post peels. Is he going to hold on to it? Has he moved it back through the hands? No, he's still got it. Post now. He's 1 metre short, Alex Post, and he's pulled down just short. They've gone a good 18, 20 metres there, and they win the penalty. Time's up for messing around.
Nice play. One would think the hoot is gone. Referee's time now. Must be a very powerful feeling.
I dare say we'll see that exact same move again. The Post and Finn Field show. Yes, it is. In comes Post.
That's even better than the first setup.
He's got eyes for one thing. He's got the ball in his midst. Solomona's trying to get it off him by the looks. It's a front row quabble here. The Koreans do well to push him sideways. They've got him up high. Lauder coming through and spoiling that. The arm is out. I'm not sure it's a penalty infringement or just a knock on. It's only a knock on, so the Koreans have defended that well. And they are going to keep Hong Kong under 70 points here. But Hong Kong it is, 64 points to 3, Jed. A great performance here. And what do you make of this series by Hong Kong?
Well, they've been dominant, Hong Kong, other than the slip up against Malaysia here at home, which they still did win. I mean, we make it sound like the loss, but it was a performance that didn't fit the talent or the profile that Hong Kong offers on a weekly basis. They corrected themselves off that. They probably got off, took a bit of time out to really just check the dials. Of course, it was a very, very traumatic week with the passing of Duncan Andrews and Wayne Parfitt. Obviously affected the mental state or the mindset of some of the players, if not the entire team. The atmosphere was pretty thin. We went into camp down in KL last week, and really the attitude down there shone through. They went pretty quiet. They came out and they battled heavy in KL, and they've finished the series off with a performance they can, I think, really put their names under. They've done superbly well against Korea today. And we're going to take some highlights now.
Yep, 9 tries today, 20 tries in the last 2 matches. Well, it was a try fest straight from the beginning. Slatham and Rosley were fantastic today in the halves.
Yeah, well, they were, and they really did create a point from which Hong Kong were able to attack. These tries that we're seeing from 40-odd metres out, it's a result of a Korean side that really do feel like they've just copped a blasting, to be honest. But it all came off a first half work, and a lot of work was created by that man, Ben Uxton Burrett. Lovely try for the big man. Hot and spicy's the order. And look at this one. This typifies the game that Ben Uxton Burrett had. Bulldozes his way over. He's got nice little touches. He's got plenty of finesse. And then we got this one. This was special. He's done it all himself. Callum McCulloch. Outstanding work from the loose forward. An outstanding performance from Hong Kong, full stop.
That's right, so 64 points to 3, 10 tries, 7 of those converted. And that is a big win against Korea. Just 6 points below them on the world rankings. And let's say 21 tries in the last 2 weeks. You're right, they can hang their hat on this victory. And the story there is about the phases. Well, Korea finally started to put something together in the second half. Not enough to threaten the line. They'd already done a lot of work, a lot of tackles. They were a man down for pretty much 60 minutes. And we hope Harry Saz is okay. But the stats there back up that score. It was a great day for the Hong Kong forwards, finishing off by the backs. And a very good performance. We're going to go now sideline to
today, and it's Hong Kong's second ARC Championship on the trot. Tell me about it.
Yeah, we're ecstatic. The group's been working hard to this. We said before it started that we wanted to go back to back, so yeah, we're really happy. We put in a lot of hard work over the last 6 weeks, so we're really happy it paid off. Yeah.
It's very good. Where does Hong Kong go from here? What are your next steps?
We'll keep growing as a group. We've obviously got our full-time program, so we'll get stuck into training after a little bit of a break. But we will go into club season and then come together hopefully around November or so and be able to play in an international or two, hopefully. Yeah.
Thank you very much, Liam, and go join up with your boys now.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, bye. Thank you.
There we go, victorious skipper Liam Slatham there with the questions, and he's had a great series coming in for his first experience. There are the final standings. Hong Kong 4 from 4 bonus points, a whopping great 212 points there. Korea, well, they were good enough against Malaysia, but not Hong Kong. And Malaysia, they had their moments in this series. They picked up a bonus point. They ran hot, they ran cold, and they entertained us here at the football club 2 weeks ago. And time for all teams to reflect the beginning of this 4-year cycle. We're standing by now for the presentation of the big trophy. And Jed, just going out of the back of the series, beginning of a 4-year cycle, where does that leave Hong Kong? You think they've blooded some youngsters, but they've got some good old heads there too.
Well, they have, and some of their good old heads seem old, but in age they're not actually really that old at all, to be fair, as the real experts stand to attention. Hong Kong they've really got to keep building on this forward pack of theirs. Cullen McCulloch's been a superb addition on the blind side. They've got a very handy pairing for the future in Sullivan and Finn Field. Alex Post has arrived as a genuine leader up front, and the props are adding fairly consistent performances every week. So this forward pack, you can expect the likes of maybe Grant Kemp, etc., to drop out over the coming seasons, and likely to be replaced with Callum McFeet-Smith. He looks like one for the future as well. He's got some good guys to study under and be mentored. He's one for the girls team, and maybe 2040, who knows. And here they are, Boozer.
Your winners of the 2019 Asia Rugby Championship, presented by Ross Mitchell from Asia Rugby, Nez Peter Schatz, Chairman of the Board of the Hong Kong Rugby Union. Hong Kong winners of the 2019 ARC, 2 in a row for Hong Kong in its 32nd edition. They've waited a long time to get their hands on the trophy, and now they've nailed it twice. And sure, Japan may not be in this competition. The corks fly, the champagne flows, and Grant Kemp is in charge of the champagne tonight as he straight arms that one straight into the esophagus. And this crowd has been treated here today. It's been a fantastic series, 6 games, and it's Hong Kong that have come away victorious. They've grown throughout the series. We'd like to thank you all for joining us from around the world for this series, and we hope you enjoyed the coverage. Come down to some of the games, and probably Asia Rugby 7 series is the next item on the agenda for Asia Rugby. You can follow us on Facebook, Instagram and Twitter, and keep up with all the action, the photos, the images, the highlights and the content. And on behalf of myself and Jed Thine, it's been a pleasure having you with us over the series. Thank you and good night.